This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, and this is the Best of the Stickmen Podcast, Volume 1, the first ever Best of the Stickmen Talk, Volume 1. What can I say? Being part of the Stickman culture, aka a cocksman, has taken on a life of its own. We have been breaking it down from day one. Stories about Derek Jeter, which leads us into a beautiful story about Burgess Meredith and the great Sylvester Stallone, which is the origins of anything that has to do with Stickmen. From me, you're about to listen to the Best of the Stickman Podcast, Volume 1. All right, here's something to chew on, okay? Many recent studies suggest that having good oral health impacts your overall health. Everybody should be conscious of taking care of their teeth, and everybody should be conscious of having bad breath. Introducing Quip, Q-U-I-P, the new company that's refreshing the way people brush their teeth. Quip is an electric toothbrush that packs premium vibration and timer features into an ultra slim design that's half the cost of bulkier brushes. But don't just believe me, you have to see it and brush with it for yourself. You can even subscribe to receive new brush heads on a dentist recommended 3-month plan for just $5, including free shipping. Quip is backed by leading dentists and was named one of Time Magazine's best inventions of 2016. That's a big fucking deal. That is a big deal. They won 2016 GQ Magazine Grooming Award and made it on Oprah's list of 2017 New Year's O's. Well, Quip made it. Look, we don't sell you any whack stuff at the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. You want to have a good time? Well, you better have good breath. Quip starts at just $25. Go to GetQuip, GetQuip.com/I Am Rapaport to get your first refill pack for free with a Quip electronic toothbrush. GetQuip.com/I Am Rapaport. It'll be love at first brush. You want to talk about a guy whose fuck game is insane? Derek Jeter is... Listen.
Yo, he did it. He is the best motherfucker. He's the best of all time.
Yo,
he never got no baby mama shit and
Derek
all
Jeter
that.
has no baby mamas. He didn't get married. I'm not condoning marriage. He knew I cannot get married while I'm playing for the Yankees. He knew he was going to be sugar dicking too many pieces around town. The Upper East Side, the West Side, the Lower East Side, Soho, Tribeca, Jersey, Connecticut.
He knew.
Miami. Derek Jeter was, and the beauty about what happened with Derek Jeter is when he first came, it wasn't the cell phone age. So when he first got here 20-something years ago, he was putting it down. And what we mean, people, if you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? We're saying Derek Jeter is a cocksman. Derek Jeter is a stickman. The same way Sylvester Stallone told me that Burgess Meredith, who played Mickey in the Rocky films, he said, you know he was one of the great stickmans of all time, right? I was like, he said that about Burgess Meredith.
What?
Burgess Meredith was a stickman in his day. His words, Stallone's words. He said, Burgess Meredith, you know he was one of the great stickmans. When I was doing Copland.
Damn,
he said that to
that's
me.
a nice story, man.
That's a nice story. Sylvester Stallone told me that, Burgess Meredith. So we're saying like that. And you're like, well, that's a weird one to bring up. I'm saying, yo, you don't know who's doing it. But some of the famous stickmen, Warren Beatty, George Clooney, Jack Nicholson, notorious stickman, Jim Brown,
Slaughter.
Yo, who else are some of the notorious stickmen? Men who were single or at least lived the single life and sort of like Derek Jeter is probably the best because New York Yankees, he's a winner, looks the part, acts the part, genuine. And his record with the ladies, yo, Derek Jeter
never got in no shit.
You know how
hard that is?
Do you know how hard it is to not get in any shit? But he did come up in the era where there was no cell phones. Like if TMZ existed now, if TMZ existed when Derek Jeter first came into the Major League Baseball, things might not have worked out his way. You know who is the number one stickman in Hollywood, right?
I do not know, sir.
Leo DiCaprio.
Oh, he bagged 20. He left with 20, bro.
He has it figured out. The real reason, I'm going back to Jeter, the real reason why Leonardo DiCaprio is the way he is with women, and the real reason why Derek Jeter was able to do what he did and probably will continue to do is they're good dudes. Leonardo DiCaprio, you'll be hard-pressed to find somebody has something bad to say about him.
Wow.
Good dude.
Treat people well.
Yeah. Donates a lot of money. Yeah. Just has never changed. Got just a quality, but he takes himself serious, but not too serious, and just has that balance of that. And he's obviously a great actor. He's aging well. He looks good. His acting improves. He's worked with great people. But the only way he could stay out of shit for that long, being as famous as Leonardo DiCaprio, a single dude, got to be well liked. Just got to be a good person, because if you're not a good person, trust me, they're gonna fucking come.
All that's gonna come out.
They're gonna fucking get you.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
I wanted to give a shout out to Peter O'Toole, who's just releasing the great actor Peter O'Toole, who's just releasing a biography. You know, I don't know, Lawrence of Arabia. I mean, there's so many films, but Peter O'Toole, I didn't know this about him, because, you know, he came off kind of effeminate because, you know, his British accent, and he was sort of hoity-toity. But Peter O'Toole, apparently, during his run in Hollywood, it was a great stickman. Another acclaimed stickman. I did not know this, but he said in his autobiography that he slept with over 1,000 of Hollywood's finest actresses at the time. We're talking about, you know, women like Audrey Hepburn, and, you know, Jane Mansfield and Diana Dors, and he took a shot at a lot of them. He took a shot at Elizabeth Taylor, and like, this guy was a real stick man, and he did it with class, and he did it with dignity, and he went after Elizabeth Taylor, and I don't know if he got her, and I think she said he was a pig, but I mean, this guy was really going after it. So I'm looking forward to reading his book. He was, you know, one of the great actors of his generation, and so unique, and so like a one of a kind actor. So I wanted to give a I Am Rapaport podcast shout out to Peter O'Toole as being, you know, like, you know, an acclaimed stick man. I mean, this guy was really, really putting it down. He slept with like 1,000 of Hollywood's finest.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
The thing that's crazy about Prince is that, you know, that I want to talk about and celebrate is not just the man and the music, but we lost a great American stick man.
Oh, yeah.
Truly one of a kind cocksman. Aside from
Maybe
everything, that's up for discussion. He may be one of the best of all time, and he's definitely in top 5. When you think about top 5 cocksmen of all time, you could throw around names like Jack Nicholson, of course, the great Derek Jeter, a consummate stick man. He did it for years and years and years in New York. Of course, we bowed down to Leonardo DiCaprio, fantastic cocksman. We've identified Burgess Meredith, the great Burgess Meredith, actor who played Mickey in all the Rocky movies. One of the more under the radar cocksmen, great stick man of his era. I mean, there's so many we could point out. Matt Dillon, fantastic stickman in the 80s and the 90s. Under the radar, they called him the stealth attacker. He was very, very much under the radar on the cover of magazines since he was a teenager. I believe his 18th birthday was celebrated at Studio 54. God only knows what went down there. You know, and there's many, many, many others.
I got Prince as number 1.
Well, I mean...
Because he dressed as a woman, and he got all those women.
Well, he was...
No one else did that.
Right. That's a good point. And he was... You know, the thing about when I think about Prince as a stick man, as a consummate stick man, is he was out of the game, you know, full-fledged recently. You know, he was more into his religion and focusing on his music. but he was always still relevant as a cocksman, always a force to be reckoned with. You never knew when he would dip his toe back into the water. You never knew.
When he would come to the game with the baddest one you ever seen.
Right. You never saw him out with his homeboys. And I'm sure he had homeboys. But when he showed up in public, it was always with a dime piece.
Oh.
I mean,
something he unearthed.
Men feared this and respected this. It's it's not a secret. They feared his power and his prowess as an unbiased and incomparable stickman.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best of all time. The stamina and the staying power, the quality, the quantity. For years, from the late 70s through the 80s, through the 90s, through the day he passed, God bless this guy, he was always laying some purple pipe and unfolding the purple loaf. Mm-hmm. And you know, just... Man, what a loss to music, and I'm sure to his family and friends. And rest in peace, Prince. Your music and your influence and your skill set, your talent is going to be missed. You know, you brought the funk, he brought the noise, and he brought some of the baddest chicks to the party, and he's going to be missed.
Yes.
So you know, we don't need to discuss all the hits and all the music. We wanted to celebrate the Stickman, the consummate Stickman.
My number one.
He's your number one. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue.
He looks like a woman.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. He was fantastic. You know, I saw him perform once in a small venue. It was at this place in Hollywood called the Roosevelt Hotel. It was one of these small concerts. It was one of these private concerts. It couldn't have been more than 500 people in the room. It was a room. And he got up there and first of all, it started like 4 a.m, which is so past what I'm capable of doing. But I was like, I gotta see this shit. And I remember like Eve was in there. It was just like a bunch of people. And at one point, he was doing he was just, you know, going off the dome piece. He was doing songs I never heard of, doing covers of songs, doing, you know, some of the hits. And at one point, because he would go up to people, and like while he was performing, he would like come off this small stage. When I'm saying like a small stage, like it was a small stage, he'd come off the small stage and play right in front of you. And at one point, he literally came in front of me where I didn't even have to stretch my arms out. I could have literally, with my arms half reached out in front of me, taken the guitar out of his hand. And he was playing that shit, and I made eye contact with him, and I was literally like panting like a girl. Like I could, because of the star power, because of the talent, like the way he had that guitar in his hand, it was like that shit was one with his body.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
I'm calling up a friend of the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, someone who knows baseball way, way better than I do, someone who loves the Yankees through and through, someone who covered Jeter through his retirement. Mr. Ryan Ruocco also does NBA broadcasting, but he does the Yankees. He loves doing it. I know it's like a dream come true for him to have covered Jeter through his retirement. So we're going to call him and talk to him about the loss of one of the consummate stickmen of all time, Derek Jeter, who's finally hanging up his cleats.
Hello.
Ryan, how are you? This is Michael Rapaport calling from the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I am well. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. No need to put on the cheery voice. I know it's been a hard weekend. You know, we could just get right to it. This is Ryan Ruocco. Feel free to let the emotions, you know, you could be honest and truthful. I know I just was articulating the loss, the career of Derek Jeter, one of the great stickmen in the history of not just New York, worldwide. I know you were there to cover Derek Jeter's retirement, and I'm bringing you in because everybody knows I'm not a big baseball fan, and I know that you love the Yankees through and through. You love baseball through and through, and just talk to me about Jeter and what he accomplished during his run in New York.
Well, I mean, Mike, when you talk about a true player who got the most out of his tools.
Yep.
When you talk about you talk about a guy who never took a day or a night off. I mean, I would say in his prime, he would go from first to home as fast as anyone as I've ever seen.
Wow.
There are very few people we have ever seen make contact as consistently as Derek Jeter. I mean, you talk about a bat that gets bronzed and enshrined immediately because this was a guy who, no matter what the stakes are, no matter what the circumstances were, no matter how many people were watching, and look, he had a lot of people watching very often, he would always come through and always bring his best bat. And I think that that's something that, you know, we don't see that often. We may never see again in this city.
Wow. That's well put, Ryan. I know it's been an emotional time for me, and it's been for everybody in New York. What you said made a lot of sense. I mean, the guy never took a day and a night off, for that matter, and he did it with class. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone that has anything bad to say about Derek Jeter. He was respected and yet feared in this area. And just laid down so much foundation, laid so much pipe, the piping and the foundation of everything.
Here's the thing, Mike. Here's the thing that I think people don't realize. He also did it with great confidence. I mean, there was never a challenge that he thought he couldn't meet.
Nope.
There was never a field he stepped on where he thought he wasn't the best player. And he knew that anyone who was going to get to be on his team was lucky to have him there. And they were going to remember that experience of what it was like to be amongst Derek Jeter. And I think he took pride in making sure that anyone who ever came across him left thinking, wow, I'm not sure I'm ever going to see anyone as good as that guy.
Wow, Ryan. I gotta tell you, I'm getting choked up thinking about it. Listen, sorry, I get just it's the end of an era.
It's emotional because we don't see the greats like this that often.
No.
When you talk about,
you know what I was thinking, Brian? You know what I was thinking? He came along in the pre-internet age. You know, but before the selfies, the Twitters, the Snapchats, he was doing it all before that time, you know, so he was able to. It's like you had to be there in person, and that one-on-one interaction is what the people around Jeter, I think they're going to really cherish. Does that make sense to you?
Makes total sense, because who knows if he would have been able to go on a run like he did, and have the career that he had. He wouldn't. If he would have been bogged down by the distractions of today. Instead, what you saw was a guy who was always focused, who knew, you know, on any given day, he had a certain target and a certain goal, and boom, he was going to achieve that.
And he was going to achieve the goal, and he was going to knock that fucking goal down. Excuse my cursing. It's emotional.
I get it. Look, he was a guy who, I mean, he'd go from first to third before you blink.
Boom.
And when you needed to score, you knew Derek Jeter was going to come through for you. Focused, there every night, no distractions. And he was just going to bring it.
And you know baseball better than me, but nobody would jump on home plate quite like the way Derek Jeter would jump on home plate. Do you know what I'm saying? When he made it to home plate, he jumped all over home plate. You know what I mean? Like the celebration, the appreciation of being there. But he also did it quietly and classy. Not many people could say they've done that.
You know, you'd see him begin his trot, if you will,
Yep.
or his trip around the bases, and there was an understated nature to the way he'd get to first.
Yep.
And, the way he'd slide
Yep.
into second.
Yep.
And even make his way to third.
Yep.
But when he got home, you'd see that slight release of emotion where he knew, he was going to do it without the same histrionics as someone else.
Yep.
But there was going to be that subtle fist pump.
Yep.
That little smirk, like, yeah, I did it again.
I made it there once again.
Yes, because even though he had been there before, and he had been there several times.
Oh, he kept coming back.
He didn't stop, and he knew that. There was that smile that said, like, yeah, like I've been here, I've covered this terrain before, but guess what? It's still a pretty good accomplishment, and I'm going to take a moment just to let you know I'm proud of the work that I've done here.
And it's another thing in this day and age of ceremonies and people celebrating every time they do a dunk and the chest thumping. He always seemed like he had been there before. Like he never acted like it was the first time. It's like every time he got to home plate, every time he took that ass home, it was always done with class, and it was done with dignity, and it was never like, this is the first time I'm doing it. There was no chest thumping. It was quiet.
No.
It was classy, and it was a routine.
It's almost like he's been a champion since high school. Mike.
Wow.
He learned how to win at such an early age that he didn't know how to lose for the rest of his life. I mean, and that's almost what's shocking about him achieving this incredible career and now walking away from it is you think about those trips around the bases and how many different times.
Many times. Many times.
We saw him smile stepping on home plate.
Yep.
And the thought of not getting to see him out there every single night, doing his thing, swinging away. I mean, this guy was a free swinger. You know, I mean, people thought he was patient. Hold on a second now. Derek Jeter was a great many things. He wasn't out there being patient. This was a guy who swung away. And the thought of having to deal in a world where, we're not watching Jeter swing away anymore. Yeah. Mike, that's a little... That's sort of like you feel the universe shift on its axis, especially in our city.
Shit, man. And again, this is baseball better than me. So we're talking about a guy who would swing his bat. And he was swinging for the fences all the time. I mean, you talk about I wouldn't say he's a home run hitter, but in a way he was sort of a home run hitter.
And I think the thing is, when you talk about him being a home run hitter, Mike, I know what you're saying. And some people who know the game, like I know the game, would say, hold on a second. Derek Jeter was not necessarily a home run hitter. But here's why he
Argue
was.
the point.
Because
break it down.
Because there was no challenge that he couldn't touch all the bases on. There was no challenge he met where he said, today I'm overmatched. I'm going to be lucky to flick a single into right field. That's not the way he operates.
No.
Yeah, sure, Derek Jeter had a lot of singles and doubles, but that was just because he was choosing his home runs for the spots and the places that he wanted them. But he knew there was no one who could keep him from that if he really wanted. You think about some of his biggest moments against some of the top competition you could ever dream of.
Yes.
He came through with home runs.
Yes.
Not just singles, not just doubles, big-time home runs.
Yes.
And that is a part of his game, a part of his run, his legacy, that maybe people don't realize that this guy was always coming through, touching every base he needed to whenever he really wanted to. And basically throughout his entire career. Mike,
and he did it on the road. He did it at home. He did it all. Like he was, worldwide, really, pretty much.
Yeah, now that's a key point is, some people, they only know how to bring out their bat at home. This was a guy who took his stick on the road as well.
Absolutely.
It didn't matter how much noise there were.
No.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter if all of a sudden there was some unfamiliar, faces in the crowd.
No.
He knew when he got in the box, he was bringing that golden bat with him, and he was going to hit just as well on the road as he did at home, and he didn't care if he was getting booed or cheered. He was going to perform, and he was going to perform well.
All right, listen, this has been fantastic, Ryan Ruocco. Emotional,
It's tough. Well, and Mike, I'm just glad. I know sometimes, like you know, this is the one sport you struggle with. So I'm just glad that, when you have a need, on the diamond,
yes,
I'm always happy to fill you in about the nuances of this game.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, Ruocco. Your insight, your love of the game, your knowledge of the bat, your knowledge of the stick, and just your understanding of Derek Jeter's career.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
What was I saying? It's about the first time I got drunk. So anyway, the late great Ted Demme, who directed that film, who passed away. We were doing a night shoot with fake snow. They had these snow machines, and it was sort of like it was like chopped up plastic. It'd be like if you put, because thousands of plastic bags and you chop them up, and it was like these little sort of plastic particles. So those guys were having a couple of drinks in between shots, light stuff. But Jameson, I think. I don't know. Honestly, I swear I had never drank before. So one night...
you had some of that good Irish whiskey.
Yeah, because he's got Matt Dillon, consummate stickman, by the way.
Yes. There you go.
So they were all like, have a shot. I was like, fuck it, I'll have a shot. I'm in here with Matt Dillon, one of my favorite actors, Timothy Hutton, who, by the way, on the low, great stickman.
Word?
Oh, fantastic. First of all, he won an Oscar when he was like 19 for Ordinary People.
Damn. So you gotta be a stick man.
Oh, he was fantastic. He had the baby blue Irish eyes. And on the set, here's the deal. On the set, you're thinking like, who's gonna try to go? Uma Thurman was single. One day, this is the truth, and I'm not spilling any gossip because it was out in the open. One day I'm walking, and I was always like, at the time, now I'm sort of more used to being around people, celebrities, but like Matt Dillon and Timothy Hutton and Uma, like I was like, I knew I belonged there and I was a professional, but there was always a part of me that was, especially when we were off set, where I was like, oh shit, I'm doing a movie with these people. Like I had that feeling about me. Excuse me. Anyway, so I remember walking by the trailer one day, and I see like Timothy Hutton and Uma Thurman, like, not full on making out, but like kissing. And I was like, I felt like I was walking into my parents' room and seeing something I shouldn't have seen. And I was like, I was going over there to bullshit around, and I opened the door and they're like kissing. I was like, oh shit, I'm a grown man.
Damn, you saw that.
So then they started dating. It was a public, I saw it. It wasn't anything like sexual or provocative, but I was like, shit, they're together.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
Did you hear about this? I believe it's true. Because I've heard that before she settled down, that she was out and about. But the Nature Boy.
Oh, yeah, I heard this.
The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, former wrestling legend. He's known as the Nature Boy, said that after Halle Berry was divorced from David Justice, who apparently smacked the hearing out of Halle Berry, and I don't make any joke about that, not with hitting girls in any way, shape, or form, but she said that this would allegedly, he had smacked the hearing out of her. Isn't that what she said?
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
Damn.
But the Nature Boy, he said that he and Halle Berry, the wonderful, gorgeous, iconic Halle Berry, they freaked off.
Oh.
Woo!
My boy Rick.
Apparently one of the new kids on the block also took her for a little dip in the pond too. Back in the days too. Hey, but listen, that doesn't mean anything bad. I'm just saying that.
No.
The thing is that it's just weird taste. Like the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Why couldn't you get like Tony Atlas? Let him get a taste, or Jimmy Snuka. But I guess she's a little eccentric. She likes the Nature Boy, so she went with the Nature Boy.
Damn, Ric Flair hit that. That's good. She got a lot. She's been around the block a lot, man.
I got to tell. I kind of like Halle Berry even more. Not that I ever didn't like her, but I like her even more. The fact that she fucked around with the Nature Boy. Woo!
Word.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
But the question is, can a stick man stick? Usain Bolt, Olympic beast. I don't think he's ever lost a race. Again, we don't fact check. No, I know he's lost, but he barely ever loses, and he beats people's ass in the 100-meter dash. And he makes it look effortless time and time again. He's a national hero, a worldwide hero, a worldwide Olympic champion, track and field. You know who Usain Bolt is. I don't need to give his resume. After he won the 200-meter gold medal again in this past 2016 Summer Olympics, pictures were posted of him with a young lady in Brazil. The lady's actual name is JD. The lady's name was JD. She's Brazilian. I don't know. Maybe that's a common name. That could be like Mary here in the United States. I have no problem with her name, JD. But there was pictures of him and the girl laying in bed. It looks like post-coital. Like they freaked off, and then towards the end, she was like, yo, can I get a pic? He's alive. He's awake in the pictures. He's smiling. She didn't sneak the pictures in there. Although one looks like she might have snuck it behind his back, but I don't see how you could have a phone and be freaking off. Anyway, the question that I'm asking is, can a stick man stick? Listen, the newspapers were saying, well, Bolt has been dating some 26-year-old fashionista named I don't know what, or from also Jamaican, beautiful girl. First of all, yo, mind your fucking business. All the newspapers, all the gossip sites, all of you, mind your business. Let the stick man stick. If I was married, okay, and I was Usain Bolt, and I just won, I don't know, again, is it his 9th gold medal, 10th, fucking 7th, who knows? But I just ran 200 meters faster than anyone's ever ran 200 meters and made the shit look so easy. Of course. And I hate to be offensive to the women, but I'm going to just keep it 100% here. If your man is a 200-meter gold medalist, he's fucking something. Okay? He's fucking something the night that he won the gold medal. You could take your vows. You could say I sound like a pig. I am telling you, women, if you were married to an Olympic champion, rest assured he is tapping some ass the night he won the gold medal, especially if he is in Brazil. I am not a big porno person. That's not my thing. But every now and then, you know, you check it out. I used to check it out more than I did now, but that's never my big thing. I was never like, I was never like addicted to it. I was never like a porno connoisseur. But at one point, I did have, like I'd say, about 6 or 7 go-to porno DVDs, and they were all Brazilian porn because the chicks in the Brazilian pornos are J-Lo status, and they are in there freaking off. They are in there getting busy. So I imagine that, I mean, Brazil is famous for having beautiful women. They're famous for having beautiful women. There's a town in Brazil, small town, not Rio, I can't remember the name of it, that has, pound for pound, the most supermodels in the world. Look it up. Look on New York Times video, Brazil, most beautiful women in the world. Now, I'm not a supermodel guy. I don't like them built like that. I like a little meat on my bones. So this video on the New York Times that they did on pound for pound, the most supermodels that come out of this little town in Brazil. Can't remember the name. I'd probably butcher the pronunciation. So you're better off just looking it up. Look it up. Okay. But just the women that I've seen in the no-nos, I call them no-nos. Just the women I've seen in the Brazilian no-nos are ridiculous. They're fucking sensational. All-star game quality. All of them doing godforsaken things. But they're unbelievable. And they're talking that Portuguese shit. So just imagine a girl. I'm just going to keep referencing J-Lo because that's the picture. Imagine J-Lo. Fat asses. And I say fat meaning fat, not fat meaning fat. Like how Run DMC said, bad meaning bad, not bad meaning good. No, they said bad meaning good, not bad meaning bad. Or I don't fucking know. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about fat like J-Lo, like fat, like fat. Like, because, everyone's like, man, you're talking about fat. I ain't talking about you, okay, Tubby. I'm talking about fat ass like J-Lo. Beautiful. Curvy, voluptuous. Pablo Picasso drawing type shit. Fat asses, okay? The kind of asses that the Kardashians pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get. Okay, and to like they go in and get like oil changes on them. Okay, you know how like you take your car to get a oil change, the Kardashians they do that on their asses to maintain them. What is it called? A checkup. You go to the dentist every 6 months to get your teeth cleaned. You get your prostate checked. The Kardashians do that on their asses probably every 4 months. Fucking tune up like Jiffy Lube. If I'm Usain Bolt, I am going to freak off lovely every single time I get a gold medal. And the fact that the media and these little gossip sites, some guy named Brian Lizzie, I saw it, a guy named Brian Lizzie, Lisi, from the New York Daily News. I'm going to tell you something, Brian Lizzie. You are a player hater. Of course, Usain Bolt is out there with a 20-year-old Rio student. And he said it appears to suggest the Olympian allegedly cheated on his girlfriend. First of all, mind your fucking business, Brian Lizzie. Let the stick man stick. Okay? All the Olympic athletes. Yo, if you're married and you choose not to freak off, that's fantastic. Okay? That is fantastic. And that's your choice too. And I support that. Married men shouldn't cheat. We're not even talking about a married man. We're talking about Usain Bolt. He's not married. His girlfriend has to know. Yeah, he won the Olympic medal. I'm not out there. I'm just surprised that the pictures of Usain Bolt were just one chick. He shouldn't have been in the bed with a galley of chicks. If I'm Usain Bolt, I'm saying to you, I don't even know if I should be referring to as a stick man, because the fact that you're only in there with one girl, that to me was shocking. You should have a chick for every gold medal that you've ever won. At the end of your final Olympics, you should be on some. I've made my point. My point is that can a stick man stick? That's the question. Brian Lizzie from the New York Daily News, mind your fucking business. Let my man live. Let him do him. Let him do his thing.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
I just want to call. Me and my buddies were listening to the pod the other day, and I was introducing you to them, and they were very intrigued by the term stickman.
Yes.
And I was doing my best to explain to them what a stickman is, and we were playing some 2K. We were playing, watching the NBA, and I was just wanting to ask you if you could give. I don't want to put you on the spot. If you could give a starting five for stickmen, because we were talking, and I was talking shit with some of my boys, and I was sticking up for Dr. J, and they were talking about Will Chamberlain, and I just want to know, if you had a top five, if you had, a starting five.
Very, very valid, very, very good question. I'll say this: Dr. J is a very underrated cocksman, stickman. Obviously, Wilt Chamberlain, when he I think he over-exaggerated the 20,000 women he said he was with, because mathematically they said that was impossible, even for some of the great cocksmen. So let's go with basketball players. I'll try to give my top five basketball players. I will say this, okay? The great Dr. J, yes, he's going to be the small forward. Then we're going to have Dominique Wilkins. We're going to have him at the two guard, although he's a small forward.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's got to shift positions because Doc is always going to be first, to play the three. Obviously, we're going to put Wilt as the center. We need a point guard now.
I was thinking Magic Johnson because before he got HIV. Obviously. We both know he was laying it down.
Yes, good point. So I would say Magic Johnson for sure, and then who are some of the guys in the NBA now? Because there's great cocksmen, great young stickmen in the NBA now. In the '90s, you had great, fantastic cocksmen. So I'm trying to think of who that fifth man would be.
And we were talking about it a lot too. And something we were talking about was you look at a lot of the great guys in the NBA now. I mean, Kobe just retired. He got married early. LeBron got married early.
Yes.
He's got kids who are like 10.
Yes.
And, he's like 30. Something like I don't fact check.
No.
But
Why would you?
So we're looking at the greats right now. I think part of it is the great stickmen are doing it under the radar.
Absolutely. I have to say, I got the answer. And this is a great power forward for this team. Shawn Kemp. That's a great one. Shawn Kemp, who is the reason why I got a vasectomy. Okay, I'll give you a quick story. I was when I was single, I was with a young lady in Chicago. Beautiful young girl, Spanish, fantastic. We were intimate, and while we were intimate, for some reason, while the intimacy was actually going on, this is a true fucking story. Shawn Kemp popped into my mind. Now, I love this guy. I know Shawn Kemp since I'm about 16 years old. Sweet dude. I think his career was cut short because I just think he was just never fully focused, and it came so easy to him. And I think that, one of the things that derailed his career was, I don't know the exact number, so I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he laid it down. He laid it down. He's got multiple children, and this is a good dude, so I'm not trying to throw my man under the bus, but he's the power forward for the starting 5 cocksmen on the All-NBA team.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
All right, we got Andy right here from Seattle with a question.
Hey, Shawn, you might have to go to Michael Rapaport for the definition, but I want to know, during your time on the team, who was the number 1 stickman on the Sonics?
Motherfucker was laying it down. There, the guy was laying it down with the
Number 1 stickman.
Motherfucker.
No. Isn't that legal? Yeah. Isn't that legal? Yeah. Isn't that legal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, I'm just playing.
What's the next one, Adam?
Youngblood. Youngblood was.
Yeah.
It wasn't Perkins. Trust me, it wasn't Perkins.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
In his prime, Warren Beatty set the bar so high for actors who aspired to be great cocksmen, great stickmen. Warren Beatty, the numbers, the folklore, the rumors that still come up, even as he's heading into his 80s, the rumors about Warren Beatty, the late night stories. I mean, there's scrolls that are still being found. He put up numbers with the women that would make Leonardo DiCaprio blush. Of course, when DiCaprio, who right now is the consummate stickman in Hollywood, but when DiCaprio burst onto the scene with Titanic and his fame and his looks and his disposition, apparently around 96, 97, he was on track to catch Warren Beatty. These statistics, I shouldn't be sharing them. You talk about leaks, WikiLeaks, and leaks to the press and the Russia of it all. This is information that I've gotten that I could get in trouble, okay, for even discussing. And I'm doing it in a roundabout way. But we're talking about thousands of women, okay? Warren Beatty was up there with thousands of women. Gorgeous, drop dead. All shapes, sizes, and colors, but all gorgeous. He was a dime piece fiend. Okay? You know the Nas song, the Nas verse, I'm an addict for sneakers, 20s of Buddha and bitches with beepers. He lived that. Okay? And it was all dime pieces.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
I looked at the lineup and the resume of Alex Rodriguez, and I got to say, he's creeping up on Jeter's greatest stickman in Yankee history. He's now with Jennifer Lopez, which automatically you climb up the ladder of cocksmen. Apparently they're a couple, J-Lo and A-Rod. I don't know if they've had a moniker, but when you look at Alex Rodriguez's stats, I'm not talking about baseball. If you're looking at his stats as a cocksman, I think my man J Logic is right. I don't know if we're going to add this to like a full debate, how we're going to work this out here, but his resume it speaks for itself. Here we go. I mean, he's with Jennifer Lopez now, who looks as good as ever. Ann Wojcicki, I don't know who she is. She's some CEO, big time money chick. I don't know who she is. Demi Moore, he caught Demi Moore. Tori Wilson, model chick. They were rocking for a little while. Cameron Diaz, which makes me think that A-Rod smokes weed. Not saying he does it when he's playing, but Cameron Diaz is a very public pothead. I like Cameron Diaz, but Cameron Diaz and A-Rod were rocking in 2010 to 2011. Another model chick, Elaine Spotswood, Kate Hudson and him, they were rocking hard body out in public and all that shit. Bethany Frankel, rumored to be an item in 2009. She's got like $150 million in the bank. Cool chick, of course. Real Housewives of New York's Michael Jordan, the greatest housewife of all time, arguably. Madonna. This other model chick named Jocelyn Morse. Another model chick named Melissa Britos. Cynthia Skirtis. I don't know who the fuck she is. The list goes on and on and on. Okay, and these are just the ones that we know about publicly. This list has not been fact-checked, but based on everything I know, this is a debate. This is a very, very reasonable, arguable debate whether or not A-Rod might be catching up to Jeter as far as greatest cocksman that the Yankees have ever seen. Mickey Mantle apparently was great. Reggie Jackson in the 70s, fantastic stickman for the Yankees. And, of course, the great Joe DiMaggio did it quietly. This is in his prime, married Marilyn Monroe. But I don't think anybody beats Jeter unless we're talking about A-Rod.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
Jim Nantz is going to be like, we know what you did. You know Tony Romo was going to make a mistake, but not everybody's doing that shit. They're carting this guy around like he was the reason for world peace. He is this week's famous white person with no lips. That's the respect we give you. Just because he had a couple of dates with some big time chicks doesn't mean you big time, Tony Romo. And somebody said, "Oh, he should be on your stickman list." I was like, "Motherfucker, are you kidding?" First of all, don't tell me who should be on the stickman list. Number one. Number two, just because you had a couple of days in the sun with Jessica Simpson and some other country singers, that ain't no stickman list. You're supposed to do that. You're the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's all you pulled off for 14 years. I know he got married young, but you ain't no stickman. You ain't no cocksman. You ain't no Burgess Meredith. You ain't no Warren Beatty. I don't even have you in the discussion. You're not even no Joe Willie Namath. You know what kind of damage Joe Willie Namath did up and down Broadway and Madison Avenue during the 60s and the early 70s? Joe Willie Namath with the fur coat? That is a stickman. That is a cocksman. Talk to me about Tony Romo being a cocksman. Tony Romo being a stickman.
And Joe Namath went at Susie Colbert of ESPN. So he was doing stickman shit way up into his 70s.
What he did in New York, we're talking about world-class cocksman work.
Yeah.
Super Bowl for the New York Jets, the unheralded underdog New York Jets. He had the cleft chin, the nice hair, the laid-back swag, and he was throwing the rock down the field. He wasn't getting no interceptions. He's out there playing. He's playing with like a fucking a soft ass T-shirt as a helmet.
Yeah.
Joe Willie Namath, that's a cocksman. This is a man who racked up numbers on the field and off the field.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
Jeremy Meeks is now, he's part of TMZ and all that stuff because he's starting to see a very, very wealthy 26-year-old heiress. She's a British heiress. Chloe Green is her name. And now the tabloids are following him. And now they're trying to shame him. And once again, it all comes down to, can a stickman stick? This guy should be plugging every single thing that's moving.
Yeah, because he should be in jail if his life would have went the way he was working it. So, yo, enjoy yourself. It's unlikely you got here. Get all you can. Do your job. Do no harm. And let a stick man stick.
Let a stick man stick. Can a stick man stick? Can a skeeter skeet?
Yes.
Okay? You just mad because you not fucking. Stop writing these little bullshit articles. Stop trying to shame my man and let this man do his thing. This is a pretty boy known as the hot convict. He's now a professional male model. Let him get it popping.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
Biters are going to bite.
They always have.
They always bite.
They always. It's very flattering.
It's very flattering.
Right.
We don't get offended by it.
Right.
I agree. It's very flattering.
Right.
There's a new line of Boston Red Sox shirts. And one of these guys, I don't know anything about baseball. It's funny that it's a Boston Red Sox. But the Boston Red Sox put out the Majestic Navy Little League World Series Players Weekend authentic jerseys with their nicknames on the back. I guess this pitcher on the Red Sox, number 41, Chris Sale, his nickname is Stickman. I'm going to tell you something right now, Duke. So these jerseys have their nicknames on the back, and this guy, Chris Sale, who I guess is a really good pitcher.
Right.
We don't really do baseball over here. I don't care what you is.
Yeah.
First of all, one of the first things to assure you're not a stickman is if you call yourself a stickman.
Yeah.
You understand that? If you go around saying you're a stickman, right there, you're not a stickman.
Yeah.
Stickmen move in silence. Real stickmen do real things. Can a stickman stick?
Word.
You know where that came from, Chris Sale.
Why you biting, man?
Why you biting? Come up with another name.
Right.
Your name is Chris Sale. I could come up with another nickname for you right now. You ain't no stickman, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
I break down the rules and regulations of what stickmen are in my book. This book has balls. There's an entire chapter describing first-generation stickmen, first-team Hall of Famers, second-team Hall of Famers. In the first ever Part 1 Stickman breakdown of all time. It's in my book coming out. Of course I'm doing an audiobook. Of course I'm doing an audiobook.
Got to.
This book has balls, sports rants from the MVP of talking trash. Of course I break down the stickman culture in the book. Shit. Rule number 1 of being a stickman, you don't talk about what you're doing.
Nope. Stickmanology. You don't do certain shit, B.
Don't play yourself, Chris Sale. That's some sucker shit.
Yes. Yeah.
We're on to you. He's in Boston. He probably listens to the Bill Simmons podcast. I know he must not listen to the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. Otherwise, he wouldn't be calling himself and claiming Stickman.
Yeah. Kill that noise, man.
Kill that fucking noise.
Yeah.
No one was talking that Stickman shit.
No one.
No one was talking that Stickman shit.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
Antonio Cromartie he's had a vasectomy.
Wait.
Right?
You can't just jump into him. Go. I'll let you set it up. You go ahead, because this is a guy that we've talked about, Antonio Cromartie. He's a football player. I think he's actually retired now, although he didn't technically retire.
He's had 12 kids altogether before the vasectomy.
No. I know it's hard to keep track, and neither one of us are mathematical geniuses. He had 3 kids post vasectomy. This is, when we've talked about the great stickmen, obviously Burgess Meredith, Derek Jeter, so on, Dominique Wilkins, of course, DiCaprio. A-Rod may or may not be on that list. Who knows? We've talked about all in the past. But the stickman culture is brought to you by the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. We brought that to the mainstream, period. There's no argument in that.
Yep.
Antonio Cromartie, who had a good run with the Jets, played for the Colts, You know, and I think he's retired. He had a good team. Good career. Not a great career, but a very good career. Nothing to scoff at. He just had his 14th kid, the 6th with his current wife. He has 8 by, I believe, 6 other women. Do not fact check me. Do not quote me on this because this is a lot of math that I can't keep up with. The gentleman just had his 3rd kid post-vasectomy. Look in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's super sperm. The man has super sperm.
Yeah, nothing can hold him back. No
Nothing.
doctor's scalpel. No scalpel, no nothing.
Now, new listeners, this might be first time you're hearing this. Old listeners who've been rocking with the Ryan Rapaport Stereo podcast, you know that I had a vasectomy about, I think it was 8-9 years ago. Okay? I shoot that good puppy water every day, all day. Okay? I'm skeet. That nice, clean puppy water.
That's right.
Okay? I never broke the levees, not one time. Antonio Cromartie broke the levees post-vasectomy, not once, not twice, but 3 motherfucking times.
Damn. He's up to 14 now, or 15. Damn.
14 kids. Yo, my man, if there's ever a question on how to procreate, if there's ever like, if the planet is under siege and we need to repopulate this shit, Antonio Cromartie is guy number 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's unstoppable.
Yes.
His fuck style
He should be putting
is buck wild. Like when we say your fuck style is buck wild, this dude right here, he's the real deal. He's cut from another kind of cloth. He broke down the levees 3 times. I want to salute him. I want to salute his wife. They seem to be happily married. He has a new reality show coming out, as he should. You got to keep that money coming in, Antonio Cromartie. I fuck with you since you were a jet. Sugar Hill Gang said he may be very sexy or even cute, but he looks like a sucker in a blue and red suit. This is quoting the great Big Bang Hank from Sugar Hill Gang. I said, you need a man who's got finesse and his whole name across his chest. He may be able to fly all through the night, but can he rock a party to the early light? He can satisfy you with his little worm. But then the great Big Bang Hank said, but can he bust you out with his super sperm? Antonio Cromartie, the lyrics to Rapper's Delight never rang so true. I want to congratulate you and your family on your 14th kid. Keep that money coming in, my man. Healthy, prosperous family. Health to all those kids and your wife. I have to implore you, though, now, my man. You need to get your shit duct taped down. It's time now to go out to pasture and wrap it up. Let the young shooters shoot. You've done all you can do. Your work is, you have nothing more to prove, Duke. We know that your fuck style is mean.
Put him in the Hall of Fame. Just put him in NFL Hall of Fame. Just not for his play, but for his stick work.
The crazy thing about Cromartie having his 14th kid is that it's been a fantastic year in sports. You can argue that Tom Brady's Super Bowl comeback versus the Falcons, that was 2017. You could say Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors. Sports Illustrated has got to be starting to think about Sportsman of the Year. But I really implore Sports Illustrated, who I've had a subscription to since 1977, please consider putting the great Antonio Cromartie on the cover come the last week of December, first week of January, as the Sportsman of the Year for all his accomplishments that he's done off the field. The man is fantastic.
Yeah. Stickman of the Year issue.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
We lost one of the great business minds, totally original, unique. Many people would consider your favorite Stickman's favorite Stickman.
Yeah.
The great Hugh Hefner passed away.
What can I say?
Yeah.
We could state the obvious. The guy, consummate stickman.
Oh, man.
He sort of created the business mold of the stickman lifestyle. Created Playboy magazine, made billions off of it. Fantastic partier. Fantastic cocksman.
Yeah.
One of a kind stickman, bachelor, playboy, extraordinaire. Hugh Hefner, the great Hugh Hefner. And the crazy thing about it is you know, we can, you know, imagine all the things he did and the parties and the movie nights with all the Playboy bunnies for years.
Yeah.
And
decades.
how he brought other stickmen under his wing. He saw the greatness of a young Jack Nicholson. He had him at the parties. Yep. He saw the greatness of a young Warren Beatty. He said, come with me. He wasn't cock-blocking other great young stickmen.
Nope.
Which is the sign of a great stickman.
He was skeeting for decades.
Decades. Lived a great life. Of course, you know, he bred other stickmen. He didn't keep it all to himself. He saw the greatness in other potential stickmen, other great cocksmen, and he let them skeet.
Yeah.
Skeet. So Hugh Hefner passed away. Again, your favorite stickman's favorite stickman.
He's not a first ballot Hall of Fame. He just go right in. There's no wait period.
No. You know what? He's not. He like, matter of fact, the Stickman Hall of Fame should be named after him. When you think about it, he's in a different level because he created a whole lifestyle.
Yeah, he originated, so he has a building named after him.
Yeah. He's beyond just a guy that could be ranked and broken down. The guy, he's part of the culture, the fabric of everything good, everything special.
Respectful.
Everything respectful. That's right, G. Monetti. Everything respectful about a great stickman. Listen, anybody could be an irresponsible, degenerate scumbag. That's not what a stickman is. A stickman does it with class. A stickman does it with a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
And Hugh Hefner, he's one of the best.
I am Rapaport Podcast.
We got a new stickman we got to acknowledge.
Oh, shit. Who is this?
Billy Joel.
Oh, for real? You got to prove that to me, bro.
He's in a New York state of mind. Obviously, Billy Joel needs no introduction. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Countless hit after countless hit. 68 years old. And his wife, who's 31 years old, are expecting a baby. Billy Joel has an ill fuck style.
Oh.
Billy Joel, of course, you know, he was with Christy Brinkley. His wife's 31. What can I say, man?
How old is he? 61?
68. Straight skeeting.
Damn. So he gonna be, damn.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry, his wife is 35. I do not get why anybody at 68 wants to have kids. Kids are great. I have my 2 kids. Gerald has a daughter, beautiful daughter. But at 68, I could not even imagine having that kind of energy and inclination to raise kids.
Right. Oh, these motherfuckers ain't raising no kids. They pass them off to the nannies and all that. They still jet setting around the world. It ain't like they doing going to the laundromat with these motherfuckers. Yo, this guy, it will be like he'll see her when she's the kid when she's 15.
But the skeet game is insane.
Yeah, that's separate. You got to give him that just for the fact that he could do that and still knock it out of the park, a la Tony Randall. Tony Randall was the ultimate skeeter because he was 80 years of age having a child. So Tony Randall is unmatched, and Billy Joel is a second.
And of course, we can't forget about the great Mick Jagger, who's bout it too.
I guarantee you before Mick Jagger dies, he'll have another kid because he just had a kid last year. We gave Stickman alert. Like, listen, we talk this Stickman shit a lot, and I feel bad because I've mentioned Mick Jagger, but this is a guy who laid it down. Yo, Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones, but Mick Jagger was the front man. He laid it down since like 1966.
Yeah.
In the wild 60s, the wild 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And he just had another kid. Yo, Mick Jagger is bout it also, man.
Yeah. Yeah. He gets an award. It's not up for a nomination. He's just been tabbed. You know, we don't nominate motherfuckers. We tab him. He's a stick man. That's it.
Period. That's it. That's it. There's no, like, we need to like have the building. The building is named after Hugh Hefner. Like we got to go over, like, we got to get a map because there's buildings, and then we're going to start giving wings, start giving entire floors.
Yeah.
And then, you know, other people are going to get other buildings made. Now, back to the NBA for a second. Klay Thompson, listen, I'm plugged into what's going on in the world. I know people that know people. And I'll say it in real short, quick. There's a difference between being a stick man and an irresponsible fuck. Okay, anybody could use their fame and their celebrity or their gift for gab to get women. But if you do it like the great Derek Jeter, the greats, Warren Beatty, Leonardo DiCaprio, you know who they are. You do it with a certain class. Klay Thompson is out there in the Bay Area. He is a stick man on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, and he's doing it under the radar.
Why? What, you've heard things?
I've heard things, man. He's out there doing his thing. Like, he's putting up Jeter numbers on the low.
Right. And that's the key, on the low.
And you know, and you know, like the phrase stick and move. Biggie said it. Boxing coaches say it, stick and move. Stick, man, stick and move. Klay Thompson is out there sticking and moving. He got the nice curly hair. You don't ever hear him talk. You never see his workout videos. You never see him in the gym. You know he does he puts his hours in the gym. He's cracking asses. And then he's out on the town doing the damn thing.
With class. He's not in the police blotters.
No.
You know, like my man, that eliminates you from ever being a stick man. If you make any police blotter and doing anything fucked up to a lady.
Or let me add on to that. He's not getting robbed. Like my man Derek Williams, like nobody's going up into Clay Williams' crib or his hotel, and then while he's asleep, stealing his jewelry, stealing his sneakers and all that old sucker shit. They treat him with respect because he treats the ladies with respect. He knows, and even if, not to say that Derek Williams deserved that because he didn't. Let me rephrase that. Let me pontificate upon that. It's just like a dog sniffing out another dog. Like, he knows the type of ladies to rock with.
Right.
He's not messing with skeezers. That's why Klay Thompson is on his way to stickman greatness. All right, what can I say? That was the best of the Stickman, Volume 1. My name is Michael Rapaport, G. Moody, last name rhymes with duty, the best podcast in the business, the best podcast producers in the world, the Dust Brothers, Miles Davis, Jordan Winter. I hope you loved learning, loving, and the lecturing of all things Stickman as much as we like breaking it down. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This podcast will soon be in the Smithsonian. It's the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Keep on sticking.